What's up, Falcons Nation? It's your boy Jew coming at you with another Atlanta Falcons video. As always, Falcons Nation, rise up. It is Thursday, and I want to do a video talking about the coaches that were recently hired in the NFL. And also, we're going to talk about some Atlanta Falcons news and notes. And we'll talk a little bit about the wild card games that were played over the weekend, last weekend. So let's jump right into it. First things first. The Atlanta Falcons news and notes. We did hire Joe Witt as our new secondaries coach. He coached a long time with the Green Bay Packers for about 10 seasons. Coached some very good players for them. Has a pretty good resume as far as his coaching resume. Did coach Charles Woodson the year they won the Super Bowl. Coached Tramon Williams. Coached Sam Shields, who was a longtime corner for the Green Bay Packers and a Pro Bowler, and coached a lot of guys up in that secondary for Green Bay over the last 10 seasons. And then last year, he was the passing coordinator for the Cleveland Browns. So Joe Witt Jr. is the name of the new secondaries coach. And I just want to tell him, welcome to Atlanta, welcome to the Brotherhood. I do think that this is a good hire. He does have a resume and a cachet to, I believe, take over this spot and help these young guys grow. Isaiah Olivers of the world and the Kendall Sheffields of the world, Desmond Trufant and all of those guys, and the safeties back there, Ricardo Allen, Keanu Neal, DeMonte Casey, all of those guys. I really think he's going to be able to mold and help mold these guys into being better players. Also, news out today that Mike McCarthy, which is our tight ends coach, has retired. He did retire today, so big ups to him. Happy trails to him and his family. On his retirement. We do appreciate him. He was, like I said, the tight ends coach last season for us. And in 2008, he was Matt Ryan's first offensive coordinator from 2008 to 2011. So big ups to Mike McCarthy. I wish him nothing but the best in his future with his family. And always rise up. And now that's pretty much it for the Atlanta Falcons news and notes. So let's go ahead and talk about these candidates and these recent coaching hires. The Dallas Cowboys, they recently signed Mike McCarthy, the longtime Green Bay Packers head coach and Super Bowl champion. I have a lot of respect for Mike McCarthy. I think that he's an excellent offensive mind. I do think that he's going to be able to help Dak Prescott continue to develop once they re-sign him. I do think that Mike McCarthy was the right choice for their team. And if Dan Quinn would have lost his job with the Atlanta Falcons, I was hearing that he may have gotten an interview from the Atlanta Falcons as well. He does have that championship pedigree. I do think that Mike McCarthy was the right man for the job. Being that the Cowboys already have pretty much a lot of their pieces already in place. I don't believe in these young collegiate coaches that are coming out of the college ranks. I'm not big on that. I would prefer a veteran coach that's been around. The only coaches that in the collegiate level that I would want as a head coach would be a coach that has won big on the collegiate level and won championships, like a Nick Saban. I wouldn't mind him as being an NFL head coach. I wouldn't mind Urban Meyer. His name was being bounced around a lot this offseason. I wouldn't mind to see him as well, one of these teams, because he's proven that he can win on the college level. Even the Dabo Sweeney, who's recently been winning a lot, I wouldn't even mind him coming to the NFL. But some of these other guys, I really don't mesh with it, don't agree with it. I'm not big on hiring young upstart head coaches. I like guys that's been around and have some experience, especially when you're talking about NFL football and professionalism and things of that nature. So with that being said, I think Mike McCarthy will help Dak Prescott get better. I think that he will help Ezekiel Elliott. And he will allow the offensive coordinator, Kellen Moore. I think he's going to really grow, learning up under McCarthy as well, with them collaborating on some offensive plays and some schemes and stuff like that. So big ups to those guys. Big ups to the Cowboys on their new hire. The second hire I want to talk about was Ron Rivera, who was signed by the Washington Redskins. He was a longtime Carolina Panthers head coach. I have nothing but respect for Ron Rivera. I do think he's a better coach than sometimes he gets credit for. He did a great job in Carolina as their coach. 1 year they did go 15-1, and they did get to a Super Bowl. They didn't win the Super Bowl, but it was just a remarkable season for them to go 15-1, almost go undefeated, and also make it to the Super Bowl that year. And what's the pride and joy is we were able to beat them. We're the one that put that loss on their record in 2000. I think it was 2015, if I'm not mistaken, where they went 15-1, but we did beat them the second time around and didn't allow them to go undefeated. So big ups to our Falcons for that. But as I was stating, I am a big fan of Ron Rivera. I think he's going to be an excellent coach for the Washington Redskins. They already have some defensive players in place that they can grow with. The two inside guys on the defensive line from Alabama, Deron Payne and Allen. Both of those guys, Jonathan Allen, those guys are good, very good players. And they have some pieces on their defense. Josh Norman, who he coached in Carolina, who's now been on the Redskins for a couple years now. So big ups to Ron Rivera. Like I said, he's a great coach. A family man, loves to bring his daughter and his wife around the team. And one thing I like about what Ron Rivera preaches, he always talks about making great young men and not just great football players, but coaching the young men in life lessons. And I really believe in life lessons and things of that nature. So big ups to Ron Rivera on his new head coaching gig with the Washington Redskins. I do think that they're in complete rebuild mode, but I do think that he will be able to, in a couple years, have those guys in contention. The next head coach that was reported was Joe Judge, who is coaching the New York Giants. I'm not a big fan of Joe Judge because I don't know enough about him. I did hear that he coached under Nick Saban in Alabama, and he's been with the Patriots for about 4 seasons and did win Super Bowls with them as their wide receivers coach. So we're going to see how well he does. Joe Judge in the Mecca, New York City. We're going to see how well he does up there. They do love their G-Man in New York. So we're going to see how well Joe Judge does. I'm not a big fan of Joe Judge. I think the job was kind of handed to him, and he didn't have to go up the ranks like some of these other coaches are having to do. But we're going to see what he does. And then the next hire, what was the last hire? I'm trying to think. It was the Cowboys, Redskins. Let's see. Cowboys, Redskins, Panthers. That's who it was. The Carolina Panthers with Matt Rule. They hired Matt Rule as their head coach out of Baylor University. I don't mind this pick. I'm not big on college coaches, like I was telling you guys, of coming to the NFL, especially if they don't have that type of experience. One good thing, Matt Rule does have head coaching experience on the collegiate ranks. We're going to see how well he does. David Tapper did give him a 7-year deal, so maybe he's willing to wait it out. Because personally, I feel like the Panthers are another team that's in rebuild mode. So I do think that Matt Rule, if he gets the proper time, he may be able to turn the franchise around as far as the Carolina Panthers and get back to their winning ways. But I don't see that no time soon. Like I said, I don't know a ton about Matt Rule other than he was at Baylor and for 3 years and they started winning games. They went from being one of the worst teams in the Big 12 to becoming one of the better teams in the Big 12. So big ups to Matt Rule. Big ups to Matt Rule on the new coaching gig. I do think that from what they say, he's a good leader, man. And I hear that he says the right things, but we're just going to have to wait and see on that because I don't know enough about Matt Rule. I would have liked to see someone like Urban Meyer, like I said, or one of these college coaches that win consistently, Dabo Sweeney or somebody like that. But big ups to those guys. That's pretty much all that I have as far as in the video of talking about these different head coaching hires. Like I said, we're going to see what they do. We're going to see what happens in free agency. I'm also going to have another video for you guys coming up where I'm going to be talking about the players that I think the Falcons should really consider drafting this year. We're going to talk a little bit about free agency and all of those things, players that should come back, players that probably will be gone from our Atlanta Falcons. But that's pretty much it for the video. Like I said, please please share, please subscribe to the channel. I appreciate every single one of y'all support. And I will holler at y'all in the next video. All right, man. Peace.